Economists and lawmakers are now saying that a fourth round of stimulus will help fight inflation. And White House officials have officially reported that President Biden is meeting with other lawmakers, Democratic lawmakers that is, to discuss the new relief provisions that are going to be included into the next stimulus package. Now there may be new requirements to receive these new payments, like a work requirement that is. And even though some crisis relief measures, like boosted weekly unemployment benefits, have expired, there are many policy experts that believe another cash infusion can help people and be politically advantageous, as inflation skyrockets the cost of gas. And the federal government has issued 3 economic impact payments or stimulus checks since the crisis began. The last check for $1,400 was sent to Americans in March 2021. The money was a relief for many, keeping nearly 11 million people out of poverty across 2 administrations. Data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services also shows. A recent report that shows the most impactful programs for alleviating poverty were economic impact payments under the American Rescue Plan and unemployment compensation. The checks were supplemented by other crisis-era relief measures like the Advanced Child Tax Credit and expanded unemployment compensation. And take grocery prices, which rose 1.4% in February, up 8.6% year over year, the fastest annual increase since 1981. That's on top of a 6.6% monthly increase in gas prices. Some governors are also jumping in to help address these rising costs by issuing their own stimulus checks. The Wisconsin governor, for instance, has asked several legislators to approve a $150 stimulus check to every resident. And while a similar proposal was included and introduced in Maine for $500 checks to hundreds of thousands of eligible taxpayers. So this type of direct state action is always welcome, but some economists have argued that families across the country could see a cash infusion, facing the same sets of pressures that shouldn't have to rely on their state government to get some cash support. One expert told CNN that low-income families are especially vulnerable to inflation, as they tend to have less savings to cushion the blow of higher prices. So delivering some sort of cash benefit now would sort of protect them from the inflation that's happening around them. And Mitt Romney, a senator from Utah, has proposed a new stimulus check, with his Family Security Act proposal offering low-income and medium-income families a check of $350 for each young child and $250 a month for each school-age child. The way it would work is that eligible families with children up to 5 years of age would get $350 per month, while families with children between the ages of 6 and 17 would get $250 per month. In Romney's own words, the Family Security Act would achieve 3 objectives: cut child poverty by up to 1/3 in America, provide equal treatment for both working and stay-at-home parents, and reform and consolidate federal programs to fully pay for the proposal. So as with most stimulus checks, there is a maximum income limit for receiving the benefit. If a single tax filer makes over $200,000 or joint filers make over $400,000, $50 would be deducted from the monthly payments for every additional $1,000 above the income threshold. During a recent interview on ABC, the Transportation Secretary claimed that there was no quick fix to the record high gas prices plaguing Americans. The Secretary said that there's always a lot of politics around gas prices and we're focused on what's actually going to bring the relief. The President authorized the relief of the reserves that's going to help, and there are other steps that will help as well, including asking Congress to help hold companies accountable if they're just sitting on these permits. Folks, will President Biden get the job done this year? Tell me if you think he will.
For the great cooperation we have had throughout his tenure as Speaker, and in particular on this bill. And then I also want to thank Chair of the Revenue Committee, Senator Lou Ann Linehan, for her great work, again, over the last several years as Chair of the Revenue Committee, and in particular on this bill, and the tenacity that she demonstrated in bringing this bill forward. But it was also a team effort on behalf of all the members of the Revenue Committee who put forward these variety of bills. And again, this bill I'm signing here today has many component parts. It has component parts from LB 723, Tom Breezy's bill, with regard to property tax relief, and Senator Friesen's bill 873, which is the bill that we're signing, which was also about property tax relief. Senator Lindstrom's bill 825, which was about Social Security tax relief. And finally, Senator Linehan's bills 938, and 939, which had to do with the income tax relief. So all these bills came together into the bills we have here today. And we're going to have a number of speakers here talk about those bills. We're going to have Speaker Hilger say a few remarks. Senator Linehan's going to say a few remarks. We're also going to have the president of the State Chamber of Commerce, Brian Sloan, say a few remarks. Brian, you're here somewhere, right? He's right there in the back. Good tall guys in the back. Tall people in the back. Also, we will have, as part of our speakers, then Mark McCarg, who's the president of the Nebraska Farm Bureau, David Brown, who's president of the Omaha Chamber, and then Dick Pierce, who is the chair of the Nebraska Cattlemen's Tax Committee. So all those folks will say brief remarks here prior to me signing the bill. And I just want to highlight that there's going to be a number of other people who are involved in this, not the least of which were all the senators who signed on to this bill, supported by 45 of 49 senators. Now, what set the stage for this was the fact that Nebraska continues to grow. Nebraska came through the pandemic very strong. We've seen that with the number of national rankings that ranked us very highly with regard to our pandemic response here. Nebraskans are resilient. They take care of their neighbors and work hard. And because of that,
2007 National Petroleum Council Conference about the future of carbon capture. He said, CCS technology, quote, has never been demonstrated at scale. It is a huge, huge undertaking. People just assume that it can happen. You can't assume that's going to happen, unquote. Yes, yet big oil continues to endorse carbon capture.
More relief bills need to be passed in Congress. Chuck Schumer has also confirmed that he's been having private conversations with two holdout Democratic senators on making big changes to the filibuster. Schumer even admitted that pushing through a rule change like this at least would be an uphill climb, but a climb that needs to be made to help the American people. And changing the filibuster is actually an idea that is supported by several Senate Democrats that want to get President Biden's bill passed as quickly as possible. And there are Republicans and a few Democrats that are currently standing in the way of passing Biden's economic agenda. The Senate has a long-standing practice of allowing any one senator to object to proceedings, and what's generally referred to as a filibuster can pause action and even on votes. This is what is known as a filibuster, and as the country and Congress has grown more partisan, the filibuster has actually become a key practice used by both parties. Year by year, everybody, more and more senators threaten to wage filibusters to block legislation. Overcoming filibusters can take days, if not weeks. Even without a senator holding the floor, filibusters have forced senators into all-night and weekend votes to advance the bill. And that happened during the passage of the Affordable Care Act. So it would make a huge difference if the filibuster is actually removed from the Senate. But do you think it should be done? Tell me your thoughts on this, everybody. I want to see President Biden do a better job in helping out the American people with the fourth stimulus check. He definitely must do this.